Hello and welcome to the college football or TBD college football podcast, bowl game edition. Joined by my good friend Dugan. Dugan, how are we doing?
Doing well.
Good. And my
crazy
name.
to think. I just realized 11 days till Christmas.
Get all your Christmas shopping done?
Not really. I'm a last minute guy. I know I'm a last minute guy, so I don't really worry about it. I'm also a pretty firm believer in my kind of Christmas period doesn't start until the 15th. So tomorrow I'll get I'm Christmas music. I'll probably start getting in the mood then.
Fair enough. My name is Newbeck, by the way. I forgot to say that. Great start. We haven't done this in a while. It's been a
couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. We took some time off just for the dust to settle and kind of see what all the bowl games were and schedules and all that kind of crap, so we can kind of prepare. And we're not going to do a whole bowl. We're not going to do all 41 bowl games, but we'll do the interesting, top 25 games and give you our thoughts. Even though our picks this season have been dismal, to say it best, but we'll give it a crack. But first, we have not reviewed Week 14, which is obviously the conference championship weekend in college football, where obviously we had some pretty big matchups and some real good games for the most part. And we'll just actually not really. We'll just jump right into it. We had the Friday, December 2nd Pac-12 championship. We had Colorado and Washington. And did we learn anything in this game?
No.
Yeah, Washington.
Hard no.
Washington rolls 41-10. It was a somewhat close game. Washington went in with a 7-point lead at halftime, but after that, Colorado, I think, threw a couple pick sixes there, and their defense did the rest. Frankly, to say, Washington didn't look particularly great on offense. Jake Browning only threw for 118 yards. He was 9 for 24 against a Colorado defense that's good, but not great by any standard. They did a lot on the ground, but again, Washington's offense kind of looked a little suspect.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Echo,
I should say.
Okay, better.
There we go. Yeah. They're slow starting. That's going to hurt them, I think, with Alabama. That and the fact that they're not very good defensively. So I feel like Alabama will probably score 85 of their possessions. I think Washington can score a little bit against Alabama. They're going to spread them out, but that's a huge kryptonite with, I feel, Washington is it takes them a little bit. They'll get they'll stall out, get a score before the first quarter, and then start to get rolling. And you rarely do that against Alabama teams.
I would agree, but let's jump into that analysis a little later on the show. We had the MAC football championship. Western Michigan completes a perfect season, going 13-0. Only one of two teams did that this year. Obviously, Western Michigan being one of them, Alabama being the other. Squeaked out a win, 29-23 against a middle-of-the-road Ohio team. Good. Keep rowing the boat out there in Western Michigan. Good for him, and I hope he continues.
Yeah, he's going to stay for a while. I think I like him. Not that Oregon job. That kind of made a little sense for him, but I think he's going to stay. That's pretty admirable.
Yeah.
He seems like one of those guys that's going to stay pretty close to that program. So I'm excited for him, and I don't know what his dream job is. Maybe when Jim Harbaugh leaves in 2 years ago to the NFL, again, he might slide in there at Michigan, which makes kind of sense.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. Going down south to the SEC Championship, biggest blowout of the weekend. Alabama rolls 54-16 against a, again, stuttering Florida team coming into this game. Alabama came out not looking too hot on offense, and Florida on their first possession went down and scored a touchdown against that stout Alabama defense. And for a second there, it might look like we had a game, and then in the second quarter, Alabama just put the foot on the throat and finished. So really, not much of a game.
If I had $1 for every time I'd be watching the Alabama game, thinking, I mean, obviously I want them to lose every game they play, but if I had $1 for every time where like they get down the first two possessions, and I'm just like, this is it. They're finally gonna falter. They're gonna lose. It's gonna be awesome. And then like I black out for 45 minutes, and it's 28-7 Alabama, and I'm just like, you're such an idiot for believing. You're so stupid.
It's true because Alabama's known for a slow start. Obviously the Ole Miss game, Auburn game, they didn't look particularly strong in the beginning. They were down to Texas A&M at the start of the third. This season, it's a number over the game. So Alabama is known for that slow start. However, Jalen Hurts did not look good and has not looked good, I think, for a couple games, which leads me to believe with a Lane Kiffin-less Alabama team, going into this final game, what the offense might look like. But we'll see that, down the road, obviously.
He signed on through the bowl game, right? He's going to be there?
I think so.
I would hope so. Like, he's not like Brian Kelly who leaves before a bowl game.
It's Lane Kiffin, so who knows? Clemson, Virginia Tech. This was actually a good game. Virginia Tech made this a ball game late, and Clemson, shut the door. But Clemson squeaked out against a somewhat surging Virginia Tech team. Definitely a good end of the season for this team that started off not so great, obviously losing to Tennessee the way they did, but came back, won their division, and lost to a good, not great Clemson team. Obviously, last year's Clemson team I thought was better, but
they just can't stop anybody.
And people say it's Clemsoning, Clemson playing down to their level, to the other team's level, and I think that's what you got in that conference championship. I think you got Clemson kind of dropping down to Virginia Tech's level and playing them close for 4 quarters. So
yeah, they're last year they got away with it because they had 2 or 3 first rounders that are in the NFL now with defense. They could stop a lot of people, not let Deshaun Watson kind of play pretty freely, but he gets in those shootouts. He starts throwing the ball more because he has to. He's been making a lot of mistakes. I think Ohio State's fast enough to play with that Clemson offense. We'll see, though. It's going to be a good matchup. I like that. I'll talk later when we get to the Final Four about how I think it should have gone 1 through 4, but that'll be a fun matchup.
I agree. And then let's get to the most controversial subject, I guess, of the college football arena these days is the Big Ten championship game, where Penn State, comes back almost 17 points, actually 21 points to beat this Wisconsin team that everybody thought was at least better than Penn State. And, Penn State finishes 11-2 and really just came on super strong. It's glad to I'm glad to see Penn State back to before the Joe Paterno and Jerry Sandusky scandal. I think the kids got punished for that when they shouldn't have. When the kids had nothing to do with it. Obviously going through a couple coaches after Joe Paterno, for them to be back at the top of the Big Ten is pretty awesome and good to see. I still think this team has some work to do to get to a playoff contender team. And let's jump into that right now. Actually, the Final Four was set. Obviously, Alabama going undefeated, number one. We had Ohio State team. Am I getting that right? Ohio State is 2 or 3?
They're 2. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just who's wearing the
So Ohio State and Clemson playing each other. Florida, Washington getting the other game as well. Playing a little earlier in the day this year. Alabama plays first at 3 o'clock on New Year's Eve day, and then Clemson, Ohio State at 7 o'clock, which I think will be a hell of a game. Going back to, did they get it right? Did the committee get it right?
With the understanding of putting the 4 best teams there, I do not think they got it right. Personally, I think it was one team. I mean, it's everyone's kind of issue is the whole Michigan thing. I can see why they didn't put them in there. I'm really excited because hopefully this season is going to propel to having 8 teams, and of those 8, I would assume you do 5 conference winners, 2 wild cards.
So,
but I would have, if it was mine, if I had my druthers, it'd probably be Michigan or Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, Ohio State, and in any order. I don't care what the order is.
Yeah.
Somewhere that way. But with what they did, I thought you can debate that Ohio State could probably be a 4 seed, right? They didn't win their conference, and you kind of sucks for Wisconsin or Washington who won their conference to have to go play at Alabama when a team like Ohio State.
Yeah, no, I mean
either host or play as a 3 seed.
They're playing in the Georgia Dome, which is pretty much home court for Bama these days. You know what, you're right, and I think it gets to a point of the college football committee, out of the 3 years that we've seen now, where the committee has selected the teams, I think this is the worst year so far. Also the hardest, but
I think you have to. Yeah, I think you have to have that caveat. I mean, you could realistically probably have 8 combinations, and you could still have people saying you're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it comes down to it's not the 4 best teams that are getting in; it's the 4 most deserving teams that are getting in. So it's Penn State. I don't think will do well if they were in. I don't think they would have done well. I
see the Penn State argument, but somebody pointed out to me that, and I know you shouldn't really look at losses that happen far away, but they got absolutely manhandled by a Michigan team.
No, I agree, and that's what killed him. I think that was definitely what did him in.
And I know it's early, but that was at Penn State, I'm pretty sure. I think it was at Penn State, and they didn't even belong in the same field.
That was at Michigan.
It wasn't Michigan, okay.
Yeah, because I don't think Michigan played outside the state of Michigan until
that's right. Rutgers.
Yeah, until Rutgers, which is late November. So, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know how you get away with that, but
I mean, next year they're going to suck because they have to go. Well, they'll host Michigan, but they'll have to play a bunch of teams away. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Michigan State will be better. But again, that'll be a home game, and then they get Ohio State at home next year. But they will have to go to Penn State next year, and then I think Iowa's on the other side. So, and they'll have to go to Wisconsin. So we'll definitely see about that. I think Michigan was probably the fourth best team when it comes to seeding. I think you're right. I think there could be a case made for Ohio State to be the 4 seed and get that rematch of Bama Ohio State the first time around. But I think this was a case of the committee just really hating the fact that Washington was, they had to give Washington a nod for winning their conference, only have one loss. I think if they had that second loss and won their conference, I think we would be seeing Penn State in or Michigan, depending on, how the committee would vote. But
yeah.
I really think the committee hated Washington and hated doing that, so they gave him Bama, which I think, with that Washington-style offense now, Browning can throw the ball, and
they get behind defenses.
Yeah, they can. If they can put up some points, and make it a shootout, then they have a chance. But Ohio State Clemson, I think, will be a hell of a matchup too. So going into bowl season, and like I said at the beginning, we're just going to do sort of the big boys, big boy games. Kind of the who is who of relevant teams in college football. So we shall get started here. We will. You know what? We'll make this even simpler. We'll start off with Arkansas and Virginia Tech.
Arkansas and Virginia. By the way, tip of the cap, I just realized all 3 service academies made a bowl game. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, did you watch the Army-Navy game?
I did. You heard my meltdown, right?
No.
Yeah, so we went to the tailgate before the game. It was pretty cool. Cool scene. And then just went to bars out to watch the game. So we grabbed pizza at a bar and just kind of hung out and watched the whole game. And probably, I think, one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen in football in a while happened. So what was Navy was down more than 3 points. So the field goal was not going to help. They were in that weird in-between midfield territory. And it was 5 minutes left. And they decided to punt it back to Army, who's just going to run the triple option. And worst case scenario is you stop them, you waste all your time out, and they punt it back to you, and you have to run your triple option to score. It just made no sense to me. And I kind of freaked out and went on a tirade and yelled at people.
What bar were you at?
Social. I think we've been to Social.
Yeah, I love Social. Great pizza.
Yeah. They have dollar bottles, all the time.
Great deal. Yeah, they God, I forget what I get there. I haven't been there in a year. But yeah, that was a good game. We'll
Arkansas, Virginia Tech.
Yes, Arkansas, Virginia. Excuse me.
Sorry.
We are pulling the lines up right now. So, this is we usually get the lines off of what? ESPN? They usually have them on there.
I go Vegas Insider. It has all of the sports books.
I don't know what sport book this is.
Just wing it. It'll probably be right. Probably plus 1.5.
I was about to say we're pretty much 2 weeks away from any of these games, so it's kind of hard to say. So we'll just go off of what we have right now. We got Arkansas, Virginia Tech. They are playing in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And Arkansas 7-5, Virginia Tech 9-4.
Sharks scored.
The Arkansas is getting 7 points, so Virginia Tech favored in this game. Who are you thinking?
I like Virginia Tech.
You'd like Virginia Tech,
dude. That quarterback is such a game wrecker. He's really good. I really like him.
I'm probably gonna have to go the other way. I think Arkansas. You give them some time. I'm gonna have to play contrarian here, and I think Arkansas pulls out the W. I don't know why. I like Brett and what he's done with that program. I think this is, although I think this is what you're going to get. You know, a good 7-5 team every year. But let me, I'll take Arkansas. Moving on, and we're just going to do these straight up. But I just want to say the lines at least so you know who's favored. Just kind of give you an idea of what, at least what they're thinking so far.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State and Colorado. We'll give you some background here. Oklahoma State 9-3, and Colorado coming in at 10-3. Obviously having that bowl game, and so I'm sorry, flipping back and forth here. Colorado is favored by 3.5 in this one. Who do you got?
Oklahoma State. They're gonna throw the ball. I wasn't really too impressed with Colorado's pass defense when they played Washington. I think Oklahoma State could just air it out as well.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State's going to run the score up, and this is going to be a pretty big, score here. The total 62.5, and I think most of that will be Oklahoma State scoring. It is in San Antonio, Texas, too. I mean, it's pretty much a
Alamo Dome, baby. That's on turf. A lot of points on turf.
A lot of points on turf.
Sure as hell are.
So we got Georgia TCU on December 30th. Georgia coming in 7-5. TCU a staggering 6-6. Ew. Georgia's favored by 1 point. Who
I
do
like
you got?
TCU.
I'm going Georgia.
Yeah, I like what's that cat's name? Greg Peterson just does wacky stuff. He'll probably have a couple trick plays this week and do something. And I just don't like Georgia scoring points because they can't.
I think so. I think you're right about that. I just don't. My argument is that TCU probably just doesn't. I mean, they just don't have a defense to speak for. But I think you're right about that. I think you give Kirby Smart a little time here, and I think he'll game plan pretty well, and Georgia wins this one. So
I think it's actually Craig Patterson, not Greg Patterson, but I'm stupid.
Hey, we're learning every day, man.
Yeah, we are.
That one is in Memphis, Tennessee. So pretty close to Georgia there, if my geography serves me correctly. Later on that day, we got the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. We have number 18 Stanford 9-3 against a North Carolina 8-4 team of the Hyundai Sun Bowl.
The Hyundai.
Yes. Stanford coming in at -3.5. Wow. I'm kind of shocked because I'm going with North Carolina with this one. I think North Carolina is one of those teams that could have easily played for the ACC championship again. And I think this is a Stanford team that is worse than they were last year by a lot. Did not meet expectations this year, and I think North Carolina comes out on top.
Yeah, I'm going Stanford. All Sens tied it up. I'm going to go Stanford, just because I think David Shaw does something. Doug Shaw, David Shaw, I think it's David Shaw, does something to and the Stanford band just got, dismissed. So I think that's a huge factor in it, too.
Do you know the story behind that?
Yeah, they were all, banging at parties and stuff, right?
It's a college.
They were doing, I think they were doing, really weird stuff. I don't think it was justified, but still. That's time for another day. What I really wanted to say is there a more, I want to say this, the career of Christian McCaffrey, is there more of, a supernova college career of, being unbelievable, sensational, and then just, people, I kind of almost forgot that Christian McCaffrey was from Stanford this year.
It doesn't help that Stanford wasn't good. And I think
they finished 12th in the country, or 18th. I mean, it's not like
they were 9-3. You're right. But
they won the last 5 in a row.
Or 6 in a row if you're Baylor.
Yeah.
And that's true. A 9-3 team.
I think it really hurt losing 44-6 to Washington.
Yes, it is. It does not look good. I don't like. I don't know. It's the Pac-12. I don't think they get as much recognition as they probably deserve, just because the games come on later.
That's fair.
And I think the Pac-12 was better than what people may perceive. Obviously, USC surging and really giving it to Washington later on in the season. But, like I was saying, I just think North Carolina here is going to pull this one out. Let's move on. We got Nebraska and Tennessee in the Franklin America Mortgage Music City Bowl in Nashville, Tennessee. Wow, home game for Tennessee.
I'm taking Nebraska.
And Tennessee favored by 3 points.
Tennessee's dead. I'll take Nebraska.
I would take. I think Nebraska is all smoke and mirrors. Give me Tennessee. By the way, I'm 3 for 3 for SEC teams right now.
Yeah. Fucker.
Let's go to the primetime game of that day, the 30th. We got number 6 Michigan 10-2 against number 11 Florida State, coming in at 9-3 in Miami, Florida, at the Hard Rock Stadium, Capital One Orange Bowl. Vegas, or what Vegas thinks right now, Michigan is favored by 7 points.
I'm going to try and watch this game with Andrew Krause, in all honesty. Pretty excited about that. I think this Dalvin Cook's last game. Dalvin Cook balls out. I think Florida State might scoop this out.
I think this is going to be a really close game. Give some time for Francois to really mature. And, these are bowl games. You get a month off to prepare for them.
Yep.
Granted, most teams don't take that entire month, but you get a lot of time. You get healthy. You're playing one team. So you can really script and game plan for specific players and matchups, and really study. So, I think all bets are off here when it comes to, Michigan being arguably the much better team with a lackluster Florida State season, at least by expectations. I mean, everybody was saying that they were going to be the second ACC team in the college football playoff.
And I think it also helps that Florida State's kind of kryptonite on defense is a team that kind of slings it around and makes you spread you out, which is not Michigan. So they're going to do a pretty good job of stopping the run and keeping the tight ends in check. So I think Florida State can keep it close and might squeak one out.
Yeah, and I think, you saw with the Ohio State game with Michigan that, Ohio State scored some points. So the over-under for that one is 52.5.
I might take the under of that, to be honest.
I did too. But who are you going to take? Are you going to take Florida State?
Yeah, Florida State.
Florida State, we are in agreement. Our first agreement. Moving on to Saturday, New Year's Eve.
Let the record show that Brad skipped over the Air Force. He does not care about the troops. Okay. LSU Louisville, Brad.
We get South Alabama 6-6 against Air Force.
Air Force, Brad.
9-3. We're going Air Force. I'll go Air Force too.
Yeah, we're both going Air Force.
We'll go, and after this, we'll go up and do the Navy ones too.
Troops.
We had. God damn it, Dugan. Saturday, December 31st, 11 o'clock start in Orlando, Florida. The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. We got number 20 LSU 7-4 coming in against number 13 Louisville 9-3. This is a very, very interesting matchup with interim Ed getting the full-time job. LSU is favored by 3.5 points with the over-under at 60 right now.
I'm going LSU.
Going LSU. Woo! Stop the podcast.
I'm going LSU.
We are going SEC.
See, and I have just one thing because I see it's going to my head. Interim Ed is going to win this game because they're just going to stop Lamar and Leonard Fournette's last college football game. An awesome game. Or Louisville is going to hang like a 90 spot. And
I think so too.
And Interim Ed's going to be on the hot seat after his first game full time. He might get fired in the offseason.
That would do.
Or he might get demoted to assistant coach, and they might hire Lane Kiffin from Florida Atlantic.
It's hard to say where this Louisville team is, dropping their last two games against Kentucky and Houston. Obviously, LSU being beat by Florida at the end of the season didn't help, but you're right. Interim Ed is full-time, and Leonard Fournette is healthy. The only thing that scares me about Leonard Fournette is how invested he is going to be, knowing that the draft is coming up, and, he seems like kind of one of those players that doesn't want to push it if it's a risk for his draft stock. So, to be honest, this is a game that I am clueless. I'm going to go Louisville.
We should speed up a little bit.
Sorry.
No. Both of us should. I think we're getting a little too long-winded with these games. It'd be nothing.
Yeah, well, we'll go here. Florida, number 17, Florida, 8-4 against Iowa, 8-4 as well. Tampa, Florida for the Outback Bowl. Florida favored by 2.5 points. Who you got? Hawkeyes, I think so too. Florida just looked clueless on offense in the SEC championship, and who knows? Ohio State might be reeling by that time. We go to a very interesting matchup. Number 15, undefeated Western Michigan. Number 8, Wisconsin, 10-3. Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Arlington, Texas. Where am I? Wisconsin getting favored by 7.5 points. Row the boat. I'm going Wisconsin. I think you have to. I think once you play with the big boys here, and I don't think Wisconsin's a really top tier team, but and who knows? I think Western Michigan could be the new Houston.
This could be like the Boise State, Oklahoma with the Statue of Liberty. Something crazy might happen.
That is true. Somebody might propose to their cheerleader girlfriend.
And it's lose for Wisconsin because if they win, it's a game they should have won, and if they lose, it's the worst thing ever.
I agree. We will go to 5 o'clock, and number 9 USC 9-3, super hot against a number 5 Penn State team 11-2, and obviously their conference Big Ten winner. USC is favored by 6.5 points. Vegas really not liking Penn State. The game is, as you said, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, a home game for the Trojans. I don't know if you're a functioning human being if you do not pick USC in this game.
You have to. I think they're so much faster than Penn State. They have so much more talent.
I think that team is nowhere near the team that got trounced in the beginning of the season by Alabama. They trounced Washington. I think Penn State kind of gets blown out. Let us move on to Auburn, Oklahoma. Auburn coming in at 14, 8-4. Oklahoma 10-2, and obviously the winner of the Big Ten. This game is in the Mercedes-Benz Dome or whatever in New Orleans. Oklahoma being favored by 3 points. Who you got?
Oklahoma.
I think I'm going to go Oklahoma too, and I really hate it. I want to go Auburn, but
the Auburn can't score on offense.
Yeah, but it's not like Oklahoma's defense is anything to write home about. You know what? I'm switching up. I'm going Auburn.
Huge news out of the Auburn camp. You know how a big stigma of this is that Gus Malzahn can't get quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He just got the kid from that left Baylor amid all the stuff.
Oh yeah.
Jared, he can sling it too. So that'll be fun to see him next couple of years at Auburn with a good defense, actually being able to throw the football down the field.
What a crazy idea for Auburn.
Right? Get someone who can actually play the most important position. Bold strategy.
Bold strategy, God. Last game of the year. Don't hold anything back. Let us get to the games, the playoff games. 3 o'clock starts. This is in the Georgia Dome, like we said. Washington coming in as the Pac-12 champ with 1 loss. Alabama undefeated and heavy favorite right now. 14.5 points. Over under 54. I don't. It's either going to go 2 ways. Alabama is going to blow them out of the water and won't be a game by halftime, or Washington beats them on deep balls and really spreads them out on defense and keeps it close by slinging the ball around. With no Eddie Jackson in the backfield, Alabama's a little banged up. So this could be a little, some kryptonite if Browning can get some protection from, that front 7 of Alabama and get some time to throw to his receivers. Alabama's offense, like I said, not very good lately, but, who knows now? Maybe they'll just run down their throat. It seems to be that game still seems to be working for Alabama. So
that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Alabama's strategy on offense throughout this playoff. Give me Alabama.
Yeah, I think 14 is. I think Alabama. It's crazy they're going to cover 14 in a playoff game.
I'm not going to say cover 14, but I mean they shut out Michigan State last year, 38-0.
Boy, that was in all. Now that you bring that up, I don't think we could get 2 worse games than the games last year. Those games stunk. The
Clemson-Oklahoma game was closer.
I mean, it was +2 scores the whole time.
Okay.
Anywho.
So
Alabama, yeah.
Alabama, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just straight up.
Yeah.
Because these could change a couple times between now and then.
This game's going to be sweet.
Ohio State, Clemson. Ohio State obviously not playing on Championship Saturday.
7 o'clock's a perfect time for it.
Still 11-1.
Ends around 10:30, 11-ish.
You should really start partying.
Yep.
Clemson obviously 1 loss to Pittsburgh. Could have been 2 if that NC State kicker could kick a 25-yard field goal.
Hold on. I gotta look up that kicker's name.
Ohio State coming in favored by 3.5 points.
His name's Kyle Bamber. We need to make it. Okay, welcome to the Kyle Bamford podcast. We just changed our name.
We get sued so fast. University of Phoenix Stadium, Glendale, Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl. Ohio State being favored by 3. Both these teams are less than what they were last year. I'll start off by that. Clemson losing a lot of players on the defense side of the ball with Shaq Lawson. Obviously, Ohio State having, 7 first-rounders alone last year?
Yeah, something like that.
Just a ridiculous amount of talent leaving and a lot of new talent coming in for both teams this year. I think this game is a toss-up. I will put this in the Louisville LSU kind of bucket as I don't know. I like Clemson and Ohio State to really play to each other's strengths, and we'll kind of see here what JT Barrett will be able to do. Against an ACC champion in Clemson. So I'm going to stop talking because my content's not really good right now. Give me Clemson for the rematch of last year's championship game.
Yeah, I don't want that. I trust Ohio State's offense beating Clemson's defense than Clemson's offense beating Ohio State's defense. I think the latter is going to, or not the latter, but I think Ohio State's going to score more points than Clemson, given both those defenses. So just for that premise, I think Ohio State wins because they're going to be able to establish the run and get JT Barrett moving. And then we get Urban versus Nick. And hopefully, so for your situation first, so did you pick Clemson?
I did.
So Clemson, Alabama, who do you have?
I'm going Alabama. Like I said, both these teams are less than what they were last year, with losing all that talent. I think Alabama has less talent on the offensive side. Obviously, losing Coker, who I think is a better quarterback, and Henry, obviously the Heisman Trophy winner on offense. But I think Alabama got better on defense with a bunch of guys staying behind, and I think they got faster, which is really scary. And when it comes to a Deshaun Watson or JT Barrett that can beat you on the ground, I think Alabama is better equipped for that this year. But at the same time, if Ohio State wins against Clemson, I mean, both those teams can beat Alabama. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be, I think, a toss-up, but I just like Alabama being prepared, being ready, getting a lot of days in between games, and I don't think anybody prepares better than Nick Saban.
Yeah, so I guess in my mythical championship game, I think Alabama does beat Ohio State. I think it's a little closer. I think it's more low scoring.
No, I can totally see that too.
24, 18, 17-ish. I think it's a one-score game, but low scoring. So that'll be fun to see, and hopefully we have some better New Year's Eve games, because I'm like the only person in the world that kind of likes them on New Year's Eve. You
are. I don't. I want to wake up maybe New Year's Eve day or.
See, I think you're just a madman if you want a New Year's Eve. If you want them like New Year's Day, I think you're
New Year's Day.
Why? Because you feel terrible. You have the Winter Classic. You should have the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day.
The Winter Classic's no longer on New Year's Day.
It's not?
No, they changed it because nobody's watching.
That's stupid. Well, yeah, it should be the Rose Bowl. I don't know. I like New Year's Eve because it gets you something for guys to do.
Yeah, but now that I'm sort of grown up and have a female friend that lives with me,
congrats.
Yeah, New Year's is a lot of planning and hanging out with mutual friends and that sort of thing. So,
it's fair.
I don't get to watch.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. No, the Winter Classic is on January 1st. Excuse me.
That's weird.
I thought they moved it. the 2017 game is on January 2nd. Suck it. Foxborough Stadium this year.
Are they playing the Canadians?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
A bunch of teams have outdoor series games, which are really cool. But that's NHL and we're college football. Either rematch, obviously the Ohio State-Alabama one or Clemson-Alabama, but obviously it hinders on Alabama beating Washington. But there's just too much stacked against Washington in that game, it being in the Georgia Dome. And Washington, it's just too much. Ohio State-Clemson, though, is going to be a hell of a matchup. That's a big toss-up.
What if, and we're going to leave it, we're going to end after this. Boy, what if Washington wins? Wouldn't that screw everything up?
They have an opportunity to.
they really do. I don't. But just something about that'd be crazy. Just thinking.
Hey, that's what we do here. We provoke thoughts. Oh my God, there's a girl that's going to do the skating thing. All right, well that's it. We're gonna do a roundup, right? We're gonna probably maybe do a 25-minute roundup after all is said and done, and we'll talk about kind of what we learned from the season and all that good stuff here after the new year, and then hopefully in talks of next season, getting a little bit more production, better quality, more guests, get a schedule, that sort of thing. Really
beef it up,
fine tuning the experiment that is the TBD College Football Podcast. Who knows? We might change the name. Get a Twitter account. Who knows?
That stupid kicker.
All right. That is all for us this week, and we will see you in the new year.
Take care, brother.
You too.